Anne.
Good morning. Good morning. It's been an
How
eventful
are you?
evening. Very eventful since 5 o'clock this morning. Dear
I
God.
know I was a few minutes late. I was just tidying up some text messages and some phone calls and stuff. And then it's been wild. It's been a crazy
Yeah,
morning. You're right.
right.
I feel like I'm ready for a nap already.
I know cup of coffee number 2 is coming up. If I could just clarify real quick so you don't have this headache. Yeah, sometimes I go on block parties where there's just so many attacks. I'm like, okay, I'm done, So I know you can't contact me here in private message because I blocked you. Just find the magazine on Facebook and message me. I'll handle it from there. Don't annoy Steph if you wouldn't mind, please.
Oh, oops. I didn't mean to hit that. Let me fix that. Sorry. I was trying to change the panel.
But it does happen. Sometimes people get blocked by accident. Your finger makes a mistake, and, just we're all human. So
That's
there you
right.
go. Disclaimer.
Okay, there we go. I got the right layout now.
Wonderful.
So, everybody knows what we're going to be talking about this morning. I want to only have me and Anne on the panel right now so we can discuss what Anne has provided for us. She is the one that provided that 911 call in the video that I made. So all props and credit goes to her. Jesse, thank you for being a subscriber, Jesse, and I hope you'll stay. So Anne, tell me what you think about the phone call.
Well, I'll be honest, I did not hear what you heard until you pointed it out. And then hearing it, it was frightening. It was a little bone chilling. I don't trust just my own judgment. I like to hear others. So I immediately just took it right in front of my husband. He's the producer of our music. He's the one with the better ear for pitch and whatnot. Almost immediately he picked it up. And I said, oh boy, okay. Well, let me send it. I think you requested it, or somebody had requested that I send it to Jack Fox. And I'm really surprised, Steph, on how quickly he responded. That's shocking because usually it takes 2 or 3 days. And now he's looking to dive deeper into it. So he picked up on the cadences. But what really did it for me was when you said, go look at the chat. And when I saw the response of your audience, that blew me away. And the people who said, I always thought that sounded like her. I was like, wow, what is wrong with my hearing? I did not pick this up at all.
Yeah.
So now with that being said, I find it interesting that certain people all of a sudden are popping up with a very defensive response. And I have to ask why. That's all. That's all I have to say about that.
I'm trying to join my live from a different channel because my comments have stopped.
Oh.
And that's been a problem with TikTok here recently, and I don't know. So you'll be hear reverb for just a second.
Okay. Because I see it. I actually see the chat going on, but I don't know if it's a phone or computer issue.
No, it stopped. It's just I have to get my other phone and get it up so I can read the comments.
Oh, I see. Yes.
It's over here. I see the last thing is that Jesse in the boot joined, which was a while ago.
Right. TikTok's got to get it going.
So now I've got to cancel the YT involvement for going live over there because I need my other phone. So we'll give that up, but I will post this on the YT for those of you who want to rewatch it so that you don't miss anything. Okay.
Right on.
So you'll have to overlook me looking over here because I have to look at the comments. Okay, Veronica, staying here. Thank you for the Go Chain Pansy. See, I see none of that on my screen. It's wild. Okay. So I think the first thing we probably need to do is listen to the 911 call. And I'm going to pull that up on my computer. Give me just a second.
Now, which one are you going to play, Micah's, or are you going to play? I hate calling that Micah's, but are you going to call the alleged Micah or the True Crime Re one?
The True Crime Read.
Okie doke.
We'll listen to that first. Hey, JoJo. Okay. I'm sure everybody in the stream has heard this by now, but for reference and recap, we'll play this, and then we'll talk about it for a second, and then that'll give me time to pull up Micah's and we can listen to that one.
Horry County Dispatch, this is Ariel. How can I help you?
Hi, Aria. I noticed some things online and have been trying to reach. Would you be able to do a well check? He's not responding by phone, and he's supposed to be awake and at the church.
What's the address?
They told me that you would have it.
Okay, you don't know his address?
I mean, it's all over online. It's on Coldwater.
Copy.
That's all I know.
Okay, what is your name?
Do I have to give it?
I mean, you
I'll
can
give it
remain
if I have
anonymous,
to,
but
I mean, in paperwork, I would like for that to be anonymous.
what's the phone number you're calling from?
Redacted.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me exactly what happened.
Okay, so I've been in contact with him, multiple times a day, and found information online that motorcycle gang and people were going to be at the protest this morning, and they were going to put a bullet in his head if he showed up. So that information was given to Myrtle Beach, but he's not answering his phone, and he's supposed to be up and at the church. So I don't know if
And he
he's
didn't show up to church?
I don't think so.
So you don't know if he did?
No. I just know, he would have picked up the phone. He never has not picked up a phone call. And there's multiple people trying to reach him.
Okay, I need to get his description, starting with his race, please.
Do you have it in your
Okay, I'm still.
computer?
I understand that it's a thing, but I'm still required to ask.
Okay.
Can you increase the volume, Steph?
Mm-hmm.
About how old is he?
45.
Thank you, hon.
Does he have any physical, medical, or mental conditions that we need to be aware of?
Not that I'm aware of.
Does anyone have access to any weapons?
I don't know.
Does anyone have a key, or can the home be unlocked remotely?
I think you'd have to have a key. I'm going to put you on speaker just in case he calls or texts or something. I don't want you to waste a trip there. Okay, nothing so far.
Okay, try to locate him with checking with his friends, neighbors, doctor, and hospitals. An officer will be dispatched as soon as possible. Are you wanting follow-up, or?
If you could, please, just to let me know that he's safe and okay.
Okay, and do you have his phone number? in case the
Yes,
officers need to try to call it?
I do. Let me give it to you. It is.
Do you have any other information that we need to notate?
No, just I feel like he may be in danger because of the motorcycle group.
Okay. And have you checked with the? Do you have a way of checking with the church?
Well, there's people there live, and nobody's seen him yet. I don't know if that matters, but there's also a trailer blocking like one of the entrances, so it's possible somebody would maybe not have seen him, but um, highly unlikely.
Mhm. Okay. Like I said, an officer will be dispatched as soon as possible. Just call us back if anything changes or you have any further information, or of course if you hear from them. Okay.
Okay, most definitely. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Steph, for the sake of your audience, there's a few of them asking, could you just give a quick recap on what's being covered?
Sure. So yesterday, Anne provided for us a 911 call that was made on July the 7th, 2024. And it was made to the Horry County 911 dispatch regarding John Paul Miller. And this anonymous woman called in, worried that because she hadn't heard from him all morning, which was unlike the situation. She was concerned that a motorcycle group called MTC was going to harm John Paul at the protest that happened on July the 7th. Because this anonymous woman could not get a hold of him, she called for a safety check for him. And that is what you heard. She would not give her name, but that is her. And she described the view from the outside looking in from the protest. So we know that it's not anybody that goes to the church or from inside the church that made that call. Thank you for the gold necklace. Today's live goal is 10 of them, and I will get that pinned. Thank you. So now there's a second one from her that a little bit later. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. But I want to stop here and I want to play her 911 call. And then we're going to go back and listen to the follow up call that was made on July the 7th. So now let's listen to Micah's 911 call.
Excellent.
With Byberg Business Insurance, protecting what you've built is easy, efficient, affordable.
That wasn't it.
Robinson County 911. What's the address of your emergency?
Hi, are you able to trace the location of my phone?
Let me see. You don't know where you're at?
At National Park,
What's the phone number you're calling me from?
843-655-5242.
Where's the park located at?
In Fair Bluff.
Let's see.
I have my location on, I think, on my phone. Find my phone is on. I just did my my location.
Okay, I'm showing. Hold on one second. don't think you are in Robeson County. Yeah, the Lumber River State Park. In,
Yeah, that's where I am.
okay. Tell me what's happened.
I'm about to kill myself, and I just want my family to know where to find me.
Okay, ma'am. Just listen to what I'm saying, okay? Let me make sure I got the exact location where you're at, okay? Just 1 minute.
I hate those commercials. You don't know when they're coming in.
Oh, is
But
that a commercial?
that was a commercial at the very end. So good morning, Nancy. Hey, Sass. Hey, Chelsea. Beach cleaner, hello. So you guys are talking already about what we're all are feeling. Mick DC says true crime re doesn't seem to know much about JP according to this new 911 call. Kelly says my spidey senses are really going off right now. And Lauren says, just watch the Robbie Harvey new video. Crazy stuff. No coincidence in a slaughter investigation. Okay. So now let's go listen to the follow-up call from the anonymous caller on July the 7th, letting dispatch know that John Paul Miller was fine and everything was okay. He was just in the bathroom. Let's listen.
Horry County Dispatch, this is Rita.
Hi, Rita. I just called a short time ago to ask for a well check. He is okay. He's in the bathroom.
What's the address?
He just finally reached out via text.
Okay, what was the address?
It's on Coldwater. I don't know the numbers. Thank you so much, and I'm so sorry. Nobody was able to reach him all morning. Okay. Thank you so much.
To subject, and he was in the bathroom.
I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. I'll restart it.
Yeah.
I forgot to turn the mic up.
Horry County Dispatch, this is Rita.
Hi, Rita. I just called a short time ago to ask for a well check. He is okay. He's in the bathroom.
What's the address? Horry County Dispatch, this is Rita.
Hi, Rita. I just called a short time ago to ask for a well check. He is okay. He's in the bathroom.
What's the address?
He just finally reached out via text.
Okay, what was the address, honey?
It's on Coldwater. I don't know the numbers.
Okay.
Thank you so much, and I'm so sorry. Nobody was able to reach him all morning. Okay. Thank you so much.
To subject, and he was in the bathroom.
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
He's okay.
got it. All right,
Thank
you.
you. All right. Bye-bye.
Oh, we lost your Steph. We lost your volume, dear.
Test.
There you go.
So we now know that we've heard part one, we've heard Micah's 911 call, and then we've heard the follow-up call. What are you guys thinking? I can already see it in the comments. Terry says the keeps coming up to me and the silence is between the conversations. And Lauren says, I pray the FBI is investigating. Everybody's talking about cadence, monotone, the ums. Can you tell us what, and I can read it if you want, what your voice analysis friend, the professional, had to say about this clip?
Oh, if you would mind, please read it. Only because I'm on the phone, I have no access to it.
Okay.
But I would love if you could read it.
Okay, give me just a second to pull it up.
And
So,
also, if you don't mind me, if you want to play the version of where my husband upped the pitch on True Crime Re's 911 call to give some, you know, for people to hear what it sounds like if a voice is altered. I don't know if that helps any. It's totally up to you.
we can. I'm trying to make sure I can find that. Let me read this and then I'll try to, we'll talk about it and then I'll try to find the recording there. I have to search for it. So, and maybe you can give them a little background on who your friend is and his role in voice analysis.
So
Not who he is, but where he is and stuff. Yeah.
He's Never a Truer Word is the name of his channel on YouTube. And for 20 plus years, he's worked with law enforcement, private investigators, and whatnot in speech patterns. So he picks up deception in how people will speak or say their words or what words they choose to use. And in this example, not only did he listen to the words that were chosen and break that down, but he also picked up on the similarity in cadence on both callers, or both calls rather. And that reflects in this response in the email that Steph's going to read.
Okay. This is from The Professional. I can hear the similarities between the two voices. In terms of the words used, I saw two big similarities. The first is that they both use as a filler word. In the Micah 911 call, it's only said once at the very beginning. In the other long call, it's said a lot. There are many filler words or sounds like and ah, but both callers use Then the fixation on location words. Now, location is obviously the point of the Micah 911 call, so we have to be careful here. But on the other calls, location has priority. E.g., she says something like, the biker gangs are here and they've threatened to put A in his head, rather than the biker gangs who threatened to put A in his head are here. She says she found information online. Found is a location word. She didn't say saw information or read it. And when she calls to say he's safe, she says, where is he? He is in the bathroom. It is not conclusive by any means, but those were the similarities I spotted. There's a lot of similarities there, so much so that basically what he's saying is the similarities is not definite proof that the two colors are the same, but they think that it's worth noting. They also, mentioned they might have to listen to a call again to check for more details. But in this case, to me personally, there's more yeses than nos. Don't you agree, Ann?
That's right. Absolutely. And you have to take in consideration who we're speaking about. Somebody from the very beginning who claimed not to know J.P. Miller and who claimed to have been pro-justice for Micah, who flipped like a pancake almost immediately on the JP side, and not really on both sides now, as she's claimed, but more on the let's defend JP Miller, and then kind of tripped herself by being on a live only a few weeks ago and stating that shortly after, we're talking about within a week of Micah passing away, that JP had called her after being at the funeral home regarding the ashes in the box and how excited he was. That's a very intimate phone call. You have to be an intimate friend for somebody to call you about that. And so what it makes it sound like, insinuates, there was a friendship, prior to Micah's death. See what I'm saying? So when somebody's that deceptive about who they are and about things they've said, yet to bring up any evidence to back up anything that they've reported on, if they've reported on anything at all, and then this comes up, how could you not question, you know, and then of course, remember the background of JP Miller with, you know, taking over other people's identities, you know, using AI. He's got friends that have, that's claimed to be experts in AI. I mean, you just got to take everything into consideration here. That's all. And with this is just adds on to the rest of the pile of evidence against JP Miller.
I'm trying to find your message. We messaged a lot this morning.
Yeah. And so what happened, what Steph is looking for was, I had asked my husband, I said, you know, the pitch to True Crime Re on the July 7th call is slightly lower than the pitch of the caller, and that's probably voice modification that did that, on the April 27th call. And so I said, would you mind just upping the pitch a little bit, and let's see if there's any similarity. And when I heard it, it was, I got a chill up my spine, sent it to Steph and said, what do you hear? And so that's what she's looking for right now. Yeah. Somebody said something about RH. How do we know
Leslie,
it's her? Yeah.
yeah. Leslie says, "How do we know it's Ree?" Well, we don't. That's why we're kind of an analyzing and coming up with our own independent theories and basis on, and then how we feel it. So it's good to investigate and come up with your own idea and your own theory and your own opinion.
Right. Well, let's put it this way. Let's say it's not Ree. It's obviously somebody who knows John Paul Miller personally, enough to be concerned of his welfare, but is not in the area. So take that as you will. But I mean, when the voice is similar to the 911 call on April 27th, you have to kind of wonder what's going on. That's all. That's all this is about.
I'm trying to use keywords and it's just not pulling it up. And I know we talked about it.
I think I emailed it to you, right? Did I email it to you or text it to you?
Let me look in the email. You might have to, if you could, when you just swipe up out of this app, it'll just pause you a second.
Yeah.
If it's not in my email, if you could email it, that way it'll be on the computer and.
Yeah. Let me take care
Oh
of that.
no, I
one.
found it. You did. Hold on.
Oh, good.
We're good. We're good. No wonder I couldn't find it because it wasn't in there.
Yeah. Yes, I do still pray for the protesters. When I had said I was lifting up prayers off of people, that was the people who were causing drama and attacking. And so I really wish that hadn't been twisted, but okay, there you go.
Okay, we're ready.
Sure. Yeah.
Horry County Dispatch, this is Ariel. How can I help you?
Hi, Aria. I noticed some things online and have been trying to reach. Would you be able to do a well check? He's not responding by phone, and he's supposed to be awake and at the church.
What's the address?
They told me that you would have it.
Okay, you don't know his address?
I mean, it's all over online. It's on Coldwater.
Copy.
That's all I know.
Okay, what is your name?
Do I have to give it?
I mean, you
I'll
can
give it
remain
if I have
anonymous,
to,
but
I mean, in paperwork, I would like for that to be anonymous.
what's the phone number you're calling from? Okay, tell me exactly what happened.
Okay, so I've been in contact with him, multiple times a day, and found information online that motorcycle gang and people were going to be at the protest this morning, and they were going to put a bullet in his head if he showed up. So that information was given to Myrtle Beach, but he's not answering his phone, and he's supposed to be up and at the church. So I don't know if
And
he's
he didn't
okay.
show up to church?
I don't think so.
So you don't know if he did?
No. I just know, like, he would have picked up the phone. He never has not picked up a phone call. And there's multiple people trying to reach him.
Okay, I need to get his description, starting with his race, please.
Okay, I'm going to pause it right there because I wanted to bring up the fact that we heard a in the back. Is that a dog? Did you all hear that?
No, I
Let me rewind it and just listen right here at this one part.
okay.
Okay, I need to get his description, starting with his race, please.
Oh, I never heard that before.
Okay, I need to get his description, starting with his race, please.
A dog or a bird? I don't even know what that is.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah. I don't know what to even say that is. A chicken? It's a very loud chicken. A
Okay,
bird?
I need to get his description, starting with his race, please.
Yeah, that kind of sounds like a bird.
Like a bird, because a dog there would be like a pause maybe in between. This is a, you know?
Yeah. And a lot of people are bringing up the echo, that you're absolutely correct about the echo. The echo is there. So that would kind of explain the type of device that's being used and also the connection. So yes, that is one of the things that we also noticed were the same. Was the echo. Yes, you're absolutely right. And again, this is True Crime Marie's voice from July 7th. The increase to the pitch, just to show the similarities between it and the call on April 27th.
We have 28,000 likes. Let's see if we can get to 40. That's a challenge. We got about 12,000 more likes to reach that goal. This morning's live goal is 10 gold medals, and we've already reached 7 of those, and we just need 3 to reach our goal. So if you want to throw a gold medal, go ahead as we listen to the rest of the 911 call at a higher pitch. And remember to tap, 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 tap as you listen. That helps too. Thank you for that.
Do you have it in your
Okay, I'm still.
computer?
I understand that it's a thing, but I'm still required to ask.
Okay.
About how old is he?
45.
Does he have any physical, medical, or mental conditions that we need to be aware of?
Not that I'm aware of.
Does anyone have access to any weapons?
I don't know.
Does anyone have a key, or can the home be unlocked remotely?
I think you'd have to have a key. I'm going to put you on speaker just in case you calls or texts or something. I don't want you to waste a trip there. Okay, nothing so far.
Okay, try to locate him. We're checking with his friends, neighbors, doctor, and hospitals. An officer will be dispatched as soon as possible. Are you wanting follow-up, or?
If you could, please just let me know that he's safe and okay.
Okay. And do you have his phone number in case the officers
Yeah.
need to try to call it?
I do. Let me give it to you. It is...
Yes, the
Yeah.
Do you have any other information that we need to notate?
No, just I feel like he may be in danger because of the motorcycle group.
Okay. And have you checked with do you have a way of checking with the church?
Well, there's people there live, and nobody's seen him yet. I don't know if that matters, but there's a.
Oh, we lost you again, Steph. Your voice,
I'm
your
sorry.
voice.
I keep forgetting to unmute it. Thank you. I try to mute it while we're playing the 911 call so my background noise don't affect it. But I wanted to stop it right there for just a second and talk about one of the things that the analysis come up with is location. They are live there. So, and she saw the view is from the outside going in because she saw the trailer. So if you were a church member or inside the church, you would be describing it looking out. So she's definitely not from there, definitely doesn't live there, this anonymous caller.
Right.
Also a trailer blocking like one of the entrances, so it's possible somebody would maybe not have seen him, but highly unlikely.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Like I said, an officer will be dispatched as soon as possible. Just call us back if anything changes or you have any further information, or, of course, if you hear from them, okay?
Okay, most definitely. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
I think she knows about the trailer, Veronica, because I think she does explain in the beginning something along the lines that she was either watching the live protest, right? Am I right? Didn't she mention that in the beginning?
Yes.
Steph? Yeah. So she's like Steph said, she's obviously watching from not in the area, not aware of the area, not familiar with the area.
But also, this anonymous caller has a connection with somebody at the protest because they know he's not there yet. They've not seen him. He's not there yet.
Right. Right.
And so to me, that means that they're in contact with somebody at the protest.
That's right. Yeah.
Yep. Everybody's saying, yep, that's right. How does the Horry County 911, if she's not in the, okay, that's a good question, actually, and I don't know the answer, but how does someone call 911 from an area that they are not in if they don't call the non-emergency line?
Well, hasn't this been the question from the very beginning? Very, very good answer. A very, very good question. Fabulous question, actually. So a few of us have been able to, and I can't remember what they call it. I think it's location spoofer. If I'm incorrect, please forgive me, because this is more Danielle's, thing, where you can make it seem like you're in a location that you actually are not in. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I don't know the name of the program. I can get that for you, but it was just to give credit for credit's sake. It was Voices of Justice or Voices for Justice by Danielle. She was the one who brought that up about the different types of spoofers that can be used, one of them being a VPN to change locations. So that's a great question. Yeah, you can call from another place and spoof. Think about this. You guys you've heard about swatting, okay? And swatting, you have to call 911 to get a SWAT response. So to SWAT somebody, most of the time are not in that location. You're calling the 911 of the location of the person you're trying to get swatted, which is against the law, by the way, just so you know. So to do that, you have to be able to change your location, and that's what Danielle had brought to our attention. So I think that's what she might be using, or whoever that is using, to be able to get the 911 to answer. So that was a great question, because non-emergency anybody can call, but that was obviously not non-emergency. Because she
Right.
said 911, did she say Horry County or did she say, okay, see? So we know that was the emergency number.
We also know that this is possible because you have heard, I have heard, probably everybody's heard incidences of gamers being swatted on, as you know, while they're live. You can go to YouTube and search for those people that they game with. Maybe they get mad that they lose or something. And so they do that somehow. So that has to be possible because the gamers are all over the country.
Yes, ma'am. That's right. That's right. So there you go. I'm not familiar with it because we don't SWAT people. But it's out there. And it's used frequently.
Wild and Sunny, she had obviously already been on the phone with the dispatcher because she had already talked, not giving a name.
I don't know if any parts of the call are missing because this is what was given to us. Somebody had asked if there was parts missing. This is what they gave to us. So what info is inaccurate? Oh, is Eric Z in the chat?
Eric, you're welcome to come up to the panel and discuss your opinion. That is totally fine. All you have to do is accept if you want to. The comments are going pretty fast, so I'll miss you otherwise probably.
Oh, he is there. He is in the thing. I guess he is.
Yes, I saw the comment scroll. I just didn't want him to be missed if he had intel or information or opinion to bring to this case. He said the info from the guest is wrong.
The info for me is wrong. Well, I never said that it was actually her. I said it sounds like her. So, have to question the defensiveness, though. It's a little bit questionable. Very odd.
Well, I mean, Eric says, I'm talking about everything you're telling everybody. It's inaccurate. How? It'd be a lot easier if you come up to the panel. In the meantime, we do have 42,000 likes. Thank you guys for reaching that goal. You guys are amazing. All right, and let's set a new goal. 50,000. Let's see if we can get to 50,000 likes. And we have 290 souls in the room. Today's live goal is 10 coffees. And I'll pin that to the top in case you want to send one. Okay.
Now, spoofing a location, Eric, has nothing to do with the device. It's an actual program. So it has nothing to do with whether it's an Apple or an Android. If you actually have any kind of information on, again, I'm not the one who talked about the spoofing or the changing of location or the swatting or whatnot. That was someone else. But if you have information to debunk that, please share it.
We are simply here to analyze. The moral of the story, he says, is people should stay in their lane. Okay. Micah would agree.
I'm not sure what that means.
What he said?
What lane would you like us to stay in? You gave up, so why are you here?
My platform is all about analyzation and seeking the truth, and I will in just a minute, Guru, and just listening and thinking and being analytical. And so this is all speculation and opinion. We've stated from the beginning, it's an anonymous woman. We're just comparing voices to voices to voices in an investigative manner. And so, I mean, my shirt does say True Crime Detective, so that makes me one, okay?
Yeah.
And if you've said something else I missed it, I really wish you'd come up to the panel. Whoa, none of you guys are investigators and none of you care about the truth. What's your proof? Proof, please.
Well, so what does it take to be an investigator? Let me see now. I have a magazine. It's been open since 2012. I've covered many stories since then, maybe not about crime, but of other things. I also have an MBA. I also have certifications in medicine. So what is it that doesn't seem to please you, Eric, and not give me a right to speak about any of this? I'd love to know.
So the information I'm getting is that you can call the Horry County 911 dispatch non-emergency number, and they answer the phone the exact same way as they answered in this call, because I have made that call before.
Okay.
So it is totally possible that she just called the non-emergency dispatch and they answer in the same way. And that's been proven by a local who lives there. So we can squash that right there.
Okay, so what information is incorrect? You've only been asked about 5 times. Because I'd prefer it to be correct, to be honest with you. I'd prefer none of this to be possible if you want to know the truth. I'd prefer Micah to be alive. I'd prefer Angelina not to be crying and in bed over the loss of her daughter. I'd prefer not to have to say this about a pastor as a Christian. So there's a lot of things I prefer, Eric. Help me out here.
Well, excuse me. Yeah, I can't follow. It's too.
It is very fast.
He's a Casey Anthony defender, somebody says.
What?
I'm not sure about that.
Casey Anthony showed up now? Please.
I'm showing Ron request, but I don't see you. Let me invite you. That way you can just accept it if you want to come up.
Right.
No, don't. Nobody mute him or kick him or anything. Everybody's opinion
Right.
is respected here. Hey, Eric. Good morning.
Morning. So all I'm going to say is the information being put out is not correct. You cannot spoof a 911 call. Like if I call up 911 right now, it does not matter what app I have on my phone. You cannot spoof a 911 call. That is not how it works. And again, let's go back to my background. Before I became a PI, I was an EMT, a firefighter, and a 911 dispatcher. I also was in the communication center and helped set up the radio system when I worked in EMS. I know how these systems work. And then let's fast forward to being an investigator. I have worked cases, continue to work cases, and if I have to post a video, I will, involving the FBI's CAS system and everything else that has to do with cell phone triangulation, everything else. You cannot spoof a 911 call. There is no ifs, ands, or buts, period. End of story.
So please explain how swatting is done.
Swatting is done exactly how somebody else commented earlier, and that is you call up an agency, hey, look, so-and-so in this location has a gun, they're threatening suicide, whatever it may be. And then the agency transfers to the appropriate agency via 911. That's how that works. But somebody in, let's say, for example, California, cannot spoof their phone to call 911 in Florida. It's not how it works, because 911 is only set up based on the cell towers and then the trunked phone lines if you still use a landline. It doesn't work any other way. If you don't have cell phone service, same way. Just like if you don't have cell phone service on your phone, the way that it's able to call 911 is based on your phone's location based on the tower. You can't spoof the tower. You can spoof your phone's location, but you can't spoof the tower. 911 goes off the tower only, not really your phone. Now, let's fast forward to like the location changing on your phone again. Android, you can do whatever you want on Android. Android is an open OS software, meaning that you can go in there and do a bunch of crazy shit with it. Excuse my French. But you can spoof locations on Android. You cannot do that on iPhone. Now, I'm not saying that y'all's ideas are not good. Like, I'm not saying that the theories are not good theories. Don't get me wrong. I'm typing. Don't take that as I'm not saying that.
Right.
What I'm saying, though, is that when we put out this information continuously and make it appear like fact, is look, everybody here has followers. People who are still hooked on this case are eating this shit up because look, some people want drama, some people want education. But the thing is, when you put this information out there without thoroughly vetting it, researching it, asking professionals who actually do this, this is what
We
happens.
did.
But what makes you think that
We
that's
did.
not
We
happening?
got a voice analysis from a
I
professional before
totally
this
But
show.
you guys are so caught up with this voice thing. I'm not talking about the voice analysis. I'm
No,
talking about
no,
the information you
everything,
put out about
everything.
spoofing
Okay,
911 calls and other stuff.
excuse me. Everything that I had put out has been backed up, and I have cited every source, every one. If you go and listen to every one of my videos, I was trained, just like you, to document everything. Now, I agree with you on the Apple phone thing. I understand that. However, some people in the chat who've been listening for quite some time also know that burner phones have been used. Multiple phones have been used. So thank you for at least acknowledging the possibility that another phone could have done this, because if you take into consideration the background on the 911 call on April 27th, there's no background to being at a river with birds and noise. There's an echo sound. And when you hear the same echo sound and the same sound of that 911 call on July 7th, I think we have a right to at least question it. No one's pointing a finger at anybody. We don't even know who the caller is. On July 7th, to be honest, that's been redacted. So there's really no reason to say we don't do our homework, because you'd be very surprised on, some of us do know law enforcement. Some of us do know military. And some of us have been in medicine enough to be able to say what we're saying with positivity here. I really think it's kind of unfair to say everything I've put up has not been backed up or sourced. It has been properly sourced. So I really would appreciate not making us out to be like a bunch of drama queens who have nothing better to do. We're looking for the truth.
I'm not talking about the phone calls.
Okay, so what are you talking about then?
Again, I think that
I think we lost him.
Okay. No,
can y'all hear me?
yeah. I just think it's paused when somebody texts or calls.
No, I just pulled my office and the Wi-Fi turned on.
Oh.
I think the issue is a lot of people think they're entitled to information in this case, and that's why people gravitate towards all of this. But I'm not. Again, I'm not talking about. The only thing that I jumped in here to talk about was when I heard about the 911 call and the spoofing. That's the only thing I came here to comment about. I don't care about any of the other stuff. Y'all, again, you guys are more than welcome to do what. I am not going to silence anybody about what they want to do about any type of case. That is not my job. I don't care. You guys are. I 100% support whatever you guys want to do. I only came here to comment about the 911 spoof phone call, all that stuff. That's all I came here to comment about.
Okay, well, I do appreciate the Apple thing. There's been a lot of confusion about the Apple phones. And I don't know if you looked at...
I'll talk about real... Hold on. I don't mean to interrupt you, but do you mind really quick if I jump in and answer that question, Steph?
Sure.
Oh, I'm sorry. What question?
Guys, I have no problem talking about my relationship with Ree. Yes, I am friends. I've known Ree since before the Micah Miller case. I know them personally outside of this TikTok. I know where they live at. I know their personal phone number. I can tell you everything about them if I really needed to. I can tell you guys that you guys are on the wrong track when it comes to who they actually are. But I know them personally, so we'll leave it at that. But I really have to go, guys. I got court today, so I can't stay long.
Okay.
I appreciate all you guys. Don't let my comments think that I don't appreciate what you guys are doing. Everybody on here has a right to talk about whatever they want to talk about.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that.
Don't let me or anybody else silence anybody else.
Okay. I'm sorry if I misunderstood you then. Then thank you.
It's perfect. Like, everybody who knows me knows that I am fair. I will listen to everybody. I'm going to say my piece, but then we can all be friends and, blaze and have a great day. But I got to go, guys. So.
All right. Take care.
Okay. Thank you. Have a good day.
Well, I got to appreciate, Noel, I have to, I'm not an Apple phone. I'm not avid with Apple phones, so I can appreciate that comment. I don't know if it's true or not. I can't back it up. I like to see it documented by the experts. if that's the case. We know about swatting. We just talked about it. We've seen, multiple cases regarding that. And as he was talking, which is so funny, I just thought of two people in my family that work for T-Mobile. I think maybe I should reach out to them, and they work on the lines. And so maybe I should ask them also, because he's right. You should always kind of ask an expert, and they've been with them for 15 years, so they probably could help at least with this regarding cell towers, because he had brought that up. I do believe, though, that your location can be changed. Now, he is right about Android. Android is open source. But we also know that Mr. Miller is, phone happy. He may have even known that about Android and used that to his advantage. So now regarding Ree, again, neither one of us said this was absolutely her on July 7th. We said it sounded like her. But whomever it is on that call sounds exactly like, 98% of the person on the April 27th call. That's all. That's it.
And according to True Crime Ree's own testimony, she knew JP obviously when they were dealing with the funeral home stuff, right, because of her own words about them throwing out the ashes. So that would be, I'd say, within the week of the incident, right? My mom, I had her cremated, and it just took a few days. This is not a long process at the funeral home.
Right.
So, how she's the one that put out the possibility of an early connection. She done that, not us.
Exactly. Right. That can't be ignored. I don't know how he knows her, what he knows about her. People have been fooled by Miss Ree. So I don't know if he's one of them. I have no idea. But you're right.
Good morning, Joyfully. I'm going to open up the panel now so folks can come up and ask questions and talk about it. How are you?
Morning. How are y'all?
Good.
So I just wanted to add some actual pertinent information to that. Mm-hmm. One, because I have worked for cell phone companies. And two, because the software that I use currently, and you all know I'm in Central America, I am not stateside, requests that I add a local address, which is the brick and mortar office that belongs to my boss. And I am assigned a local number in Colorado. If I call 911 from my phone, it goes to 911 Colorado. I'm not going to say the city because people have been trying to find out where I'm at, but or where I work.
I love you, Joyfully.
Yes.
Love you too. So the fact that they try to say that a soft phone, which is what a software phone is, a software phone system cannot do that, it's absolutely false. Yes, it can.
Thank you. And I figured it did. I'm not a techie. I don't work for these companies. So we needed to hear from someone who has an inside, and you do. And thank you for that. I really appreciate it. And I know Steph does.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And to add to that, and because this person knows or should know, when I received threats from that person, I called his local non-emergency 911 line to report him. And the number that showed up was my Colorado number because an officer called me back on that Colorado number.
Mm-hmm. Right on.
So,
am I echoing?
No, you're not echoing.
No.
Oh, okay.
And then with cell phones, especially with prepaid cell phones, you can buy a prepaid cell phone with a SIM card, activate it in a specific state. All you need to do is add roaming. You can go to another state and you can spoof that call and it'll show up that you're local.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. Okay, so what you're saying is if you buy a cell phone, a burner phone from South Carolina, for example, and you set it up for North Carolina in that area, Lumberton, let's say specifically, when you dial 911, it's automatically going to go to the 911 in that area. Is that what you're saying?
So it depends on where you purchase the phone, because you will activate it there in that location. So it will be registered to the towers in your location. with that local number, right?
Right.
Now, if you have roaming activated and you go to another state, you can still call the local 911 where where the phone was registered at.
Ah, I see what you're saying. All right, right on. Oh, that's very valuable. Thank you for that. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, phones can be traced. I'm not saying they can't be, but to say that a call cannot be spoofed, it absolutely can. Now, in order to trace a phone, you need a judge to issue a subpoena to the carrier. And that's not something that's going to just happen.
Right.
So people can't just go and say, well, you know what? I'm going to trace you and find out where you're calling me from. No, that ain't going to happen. Because you need a lawyer to petition it and you need a judge to grant a subpoena and then get those records from the carrier. You can call the carrier all you want. I've got calls like that all the time.
Right.
We are not permitted to give that information out to anybody.
Right.
It is not only a fireable offense, it is a jailable offense.
So we can safely assume, though, that the feds will be able to get a hold of that information.
Oh, absolutely, yes. If they know what to look for and that's the area that they're in, or that's the angle that they're looking at, yeah, they can get all of that information.
Awesome. I love hearing
Now,
that.
us lay people, we can't.
Right.
And I wanted to say that for those that are threatening people, talking about, oh, I'm going to find out who you are.
Right.
I have a question to the person who knows about cell phones. What
Yes.
happens with call forwarding? Let's say that she forwarded her calls to JP, just an example. And how would that work out if it was called 911? Would it come up both or would it come up one?
Call forwarding is simply an option to, if you don't have your phone on you and you don't respond, you can send that incoming call to another device. That's all it does. It's not both ways.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I was
Yep.
just curious.
Sure.
Yes, this will be on YouTube.
I just
Somebody
had
asked.
one thing to say about the tower from my personal experience. Because I live in South Carolina, but I used to work in Georgia. And I was on my way home from work one night and I needed to call 911 in regards to an 18-wheeler that kept running off the road. Well, when I called 911, I had already crossed into South Carolina for a good 10 minutes, but it picked up a Georgia tower. And I had to wait for the Georgia tower to transfer me to the the county that I had just entered.
Right.
So even
You
though
have
I
a-
was
you
in
have an
South
iPhone?
Carolina, the tower picked me up in Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So
That
it
happened to me
happens.
too, but I have an Android.
I have an iPhone, but
Oh, okay.
it happens.
Yeah,
Um,
I had that happen too.
One of the biggest things that are going to be a factor there are whether or not you had a GSM phone, which is a phone with a SIM card, or a CDMA phone, which does not require a SIM card. The CDMA being more technologically advanced, the towers are able to have a further reach on a CDMA platform than they are on a GSM platform.
So would a CDMA normally be the burner phones?
No, usually the GSM are the burners.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Now, my iPhone, I have the 15, and it does not have a physical SIM card.
Okay, so yours is a CDMA.
Correct.
Mine too. I have a 15.
Yeah, GSM is phasing out, but GSM is still very much used, for instance, with phone companies that are linked to government assistance, or what used to be called the Obama phones, or Straight Talk, Total Wireless. All of those have what was the other one? I forget the other one. But all of these are associated to like Social Security benefits, things like that, and receivers of these benefits get a certain amount of minutes every month for free.
Yeah.
So those are still GSM. Cricket, yeah, Cricket is another one, but Cricket has both GSM and CDMA. So
Do you
does
guys
Straight
know-
Talk.
One question I had, do you guys know, you know how like on that report that they put out from Robeson County, saying that her like subscriber address was, I believe, 1281 Princess Anne Road. Have we confirmed that that is like based on a query of the Verizon records that they had, or is that based on some kind of ping. I mean, it seemed like it was the subscriber address, not necessarily like a geolocation, right?
So I can actually answer that.
Yeah.
Sorry. Only because this information was discussed several months ago when the fisherman conducted an interview, right? And where her location was. So I Googled it super fast because everybody was, how do they know? How do they know? And the truth is, I'm really not going to sit here and give a play-by-play of what can be done and how you can bypass said services, because it is illegal, definitely illegal, for law enforcement or anyone, unless you own that and that's your property, to pull any data, okay, from any phone, have access to it. And I can assure you, Google, it tracks everything that you do. And it is all conducted by that E911 system. And Raven County implemented that, I don't know, within the last few years. That system is still being tested, but you register, quote unquote, your address, the location of where. So when you go to set it up and you want, I think you click some setting, it's been a moment, but it will allow you to do that. And so you actually can receive more accurate ping instead of relying on the cell phone towers. But as you know, Miss Joy says, you know, she is right. They're not going to be ciphering through that information because it's an emergency, right? Even if it's a non-emergency. I don't, you know, there's just so much more involved to it, but that system has been activated. And if I'm not mistaken, I know Apple for a fact signed and allowed the company who created this. So just think if you're ordering an Uber or you're ordering food, the same software is literally applied into this. And it allows accuracy, but it allows tracking in that sense. Now, like I said, that's a lot of red tape. And unfortunately, you cannot, unless you have that subpoena, you can't touch it. And this is especially what Kat explained to me, because she wrote the standards for that. She said, if a search warrant is like pretty much given to you and it allows your home, right? Even if electronics are out in plain view, they cannot touch it without a subpoena. And if they obtain the information in dubious manners, it is literally thrown out admissible in court. And she was very specific about that. Both my business associates, one has NSA credentials, and she is very, very well versed in communications. And then the other one works in the telecom industry. So we see it on a more of a deeper back end. And of course, you can spoof a number. I have VPN set up on my phone. So you don't have, if you cut off, you know, the information refreshing in the background, it's not going to give proper accuracy. But I assure you,
Andy, is that your name, Andy? Is your name? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I didn't want to. Okay. Are you referring to the being picked up at 1281 Princess Anne? Is that what you're talking about?
No, ma'am. I don't know specifically.
That's okay.
About her address or where it was located. But I'm just explaining to you that I looked a few months back on the specific data as to where it was pinged, and it was less than 3 miles away.
I feel like the ping is different than the subscriber address, though. I feel like when they do that.
Yes, ma'am. That's correct.
Okay. That's what I just want to make sure.
We should always be comforted in the idea that whatever we're talking about, the feds are about 10 miles ahead of us. They've probably already been there, done that, burned that T-shirt. So, you know, they were, you know what I mean? We're just discussing it. Or at least,
I just know that. Okay, so remember when they did the test last year, you know, and we were supposed to not have service for 15 minutes or whatever, and they sent out a test signal? That is literally what it is. Okay? It's plain and simple. And you could try to spoof, you could do what you want, you could pretend to be this person, that person, whatever. I can assure you, even if you have an Android phone or an iPhone, The data is there. And Google's
Right.
much more easily attainable than it is anywhere.
Okay.
I got a question.
Uh-huh.
What about if the phone is on airplane mode and then called 911?
That's a good question. I've never tried
Oh,
that.
wow.
I don't
Because
think
Micah's
it can. Maybe?
When I would do that, you
no,
couldn't
you
make
still
calls.
you still can. You can still call 911 on airplane mode, but
Okay.
as far as like tracking somebody, I don't know how that would work. And that was what Michael's phone was airplane mode.
I don't know if it was on airplane mode until they seized it by law enforcement, because
Yes.
that's probably what happened.
Yeah. And trust me, I'm not going to give
Hey,
anybody.
Princess Paula. I'm so glad that this is the first time Princess Paula has joined my panel. I'm so happy because I love her voice. Good
I
morning.
do too. I love her energy as well.
Oh, I hope I live up to all this hype. I'm starting to worry now.
No, you are definitely worth all the hype.
Oh, thank you so much. I just quickly wanted to come in, Steph, and say I checked last night. This whole thing of if somebody has access through the iCloud to somebody's
Yes.
phone, and we know who this is in this case, right? Whether anything beyond messages, etc., can be accessed. And then I nearly fell to the floor when I saw that calls can actually be made.
Right. Yes, ma'am. That's correct.
So, yeah, calls can be made through the iCloud access. That's quite scary, isn't it?
So RSV, if you're
Wow, I did not realize that.
It's always, it's always
I just wanted to help somebody on the panel.
If you're not speaking, if you guys don't mind to mute yourself so we don't grab the background noise, and just unmute when you speak or respond, okay?
Yeah, Steph, someone was asking how to do that. All you got to do is see the mic at the bottom. It's next to the comments. You tap on that, and we see the
There you
line go
go.
through that microphone.
Yeah,
That's how it works.
somebody just did it. There you go.
There you go. It's just the echo is and stuff, and it causes the background noise to be, So, anyway, continue, Princess Paula, with what you were saying. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Well, that's just the main point of that was the main point I wanted to make, really, was that I hadn't realised that calls could actually be made through the iCloud, which is quite it's quite mind-blowing. So it's not just an information gathering exercise that can happen. Calls can actually be made through that. And there's only one person who had access to her iCloud, right?
Yeah, oh my God, what a great point. And I had no idea you could do that.
Do it for my daughter's phone.
I did not, Steph. I had no idea you could do that. See what I mean?
Phone.
Oh, the phone indeed.
Yeah, it's actually something that's been implemented within, I want to say, the last 2 to 3 years.
Oh my God.
But it's great when used good, because I use it for my daughter, who is a child, right?
Yes.
But the point being, Steph, is that the physical locality of the phone, that's what's pinging. It's still pinging where the phone is physically.
May I please interject? Hi, my name is Kristen. I was in the legal ops department of Google for 2 years. I worked on the international criminal side and international civil side. For the domestic side of the legal department that we have there at Google, law enforcement would have to file a warrant with us in order to obtain that data. It is not easily obtained through a subpoena. The only time a subpoena would be involved is that if it is a civil lawsuit. So once that warrant is given to us, then we give it for that certain amount of time frame. And in the warrant, it has to specify whether if it is IP addresses, logins, data, etc. And you have to be very specific within that warrant because it determines how much we can give. Because we as Google are very, very good about protecting the user. Okay. So with that thought in mind, you do have to, sometimes we do go back to law enforcement and say, okay, you need to pare this down a little bit and narrow this down because we don't want to give them more than what they need. So if there is a warrant in hand, that would be great. And usually Google is very good about turning back out those warrants with that information to law enforcement very quickly. Also, we have a U.S. team that is available for emergencies 24 hours a day. We've got a daytime team and a nighttime team there is an international team that does daytime and nighttime for urgents as well. So let's say, because I had control of the United Kingdom, France, Germany, Australia, Singapore, and Sweden, if I was not there during the day, and because the category that I had mainly worked was white collar crime, the emergency team would pick it up, and if the emergency team did not pick it up, it would be passed to me when I immediately got into the office. So that's the deal with that. And that's all I really wanted to say with that. I can free up my little box now.
Don't go anywhere. No, please don't go anywhere, Kristen. I have a question for you. So is that the same protocol for a federal investigation, like for Fed agencies?
Yes.
In regards to a criminal investigation?
Yes. Yeah, you still have to give a warrant regardless.
Okay, just wondering. All right, wanted to specify for the record.
Yes.
Steph, sorry, Steph. Could I just finish my point there? That was really useful information, but I just wanted to finish my point. Which is that despite the fact that somebody can make a call via iCloud access on your phone, if they have the access, obviously, nevertheless, the phone is still pinging in the phone's physical environment. So wherever the phone is physically, it's pinging there, but the call can be made from anywhere. That's my point.
Let me just say, justice for her in this room that is asking me to unblock True Crime Reef so she can come up. The answer is no, she is not welcome here.
Good.
Continue. Uh-oh. Now I'm froze. Can y'all still see me?
You are frozen.
Yeah, you're frozen.
See, this whole thing is acting up. I'm going to try to go out and come in. So but y'all keep talking and keep going, and I'll be right back.
Okay. I was going to actually share something else that Steph can look into later. The domestic side of Google has helped with cold cases before, and law enforcement has reached Google before. If they don't know who a particular assailant is in a crime, they'll ask Google, okay, could you tell us the cell signals from this time to this time on such and such day? And we'll show them the pinks. And it's very interesting because I did help, because when at that point in time, domestics needed help, and this was before I got assigned my countries, they said, hey, can you go for a day to the domestic side and help with that? So we did. I went that day and I was processing some paperwork, and they said, hey, can you, being this particular small town in Texas, had said, hey, we had a murder investigation. It's a very old case. Could you please help us with this? And they gave the little warrant, and they said that what the parameters, and I was able to turn it over, and it was a nice little, really cute, neat, well, I wouldn't say cute, but it's to me it's fascinating. It's a dotted map as to who was in the area at that point in time, and then that way they can narrow it down as to who was in that time frame. So, but that's the main thing. Like I mainly use TikTok just for entertainment purposes and like all little like stuff that I used for fun. But I did that for a long time. But yeah, I really enjoyed my work at Google. I thought it was a lot of fun. It was very intense. And, but that's all I have to really share about that. And I'll free up the mic so that way somebody else can pop up. But that's all I wanted to share.
But would you mind answering some questions? I hate for to leave without.
I think they want you to say.
Yeah,
if you have time.
I'd like to know if you could shed some light on the possibility and just explain from your end what it takes for someone to call a 911 center, for example, from one place, calling from another location. Some refer to it as spoofing, some call it swatting. If you could you explain that at all?
From the Google end, I would say because of the fact that you could pull the data, let's say you used a Google Voice account, okay?
Yeah, I was going to ask about
that. You could pull that from Google, but once again, once that number is traced by law enforcement to be a Google number, then they would present a warrant to try to find out who is the owner of that Google Voice account. And so once that is in that warrant, they would say, okay, I would like to know the IP address, the logins, the basic subscriber information, and any data in that particular account. And then you could go from there. Now, sometimes we've had this happen quite a few times where you'll have, obvious accounts where hackers don't want to give their real name, or they'll put in false subscriber information. And that way they think, oh, well, it still can't be tracked. Well, that's not entirely true, because your IP address can be can be tracked back to a relative area. And
that's right.
Or some cases it can be also in addition to be a relative area, or it could be a specific address, depending on the subnet mask of the IP address.
Is VPN the only thing that can be a wall between?
No.
Not really, no, because they could determine what VPN that you're using, I believe. Okay. And that way they could go to that VPN company. Like I use ExpressVPN because of the fact that, and I'm not advertising for Express, it's just not something that I use, because I use Starlink. Okay. Now, even with Starlink, even though they changed their IP addresses every few minutes, okay, it would still go back to Starlink and say, okay, this is a Starlink account. I would have to give a warrant to Starlink and find out, okay, this is the owner of this said account. There is ways to do it. It's just a pain because it's a lot of paperwork. Yeah. And they can track everything though, but it's just a matter of paperwork. And if, people get back to you in time, that's what matters.
Okay.
Hey, Kristen, is there a way to figure out, I know that they put her provider down as Verizon, but do we know, I have a Verizon phone myself, an Android, and I have a Google Voice account. So if I called 911 using my Google Voice, is there a way to figure out whether maybe the phone number that was used is a Google Voice account?
Unless it's determined by either going to Verizon saying, okay, is this your phone number? And because sometimes when you Google numbers, it'll say that it's a Google Voice account or either some type of burner phone, because it won't give you any type of results when you Google it. Same with like if you have a spam number that you don't know what it is, and this is before, AT&T Active Armor existed. Mm-hmm. People would get up on the Google and try to figure it out. Mm-hmm. And it would either lead to a business, or it would say, okay, obviously flagged as spam. If it's not a real number and it doesn't come up with anything, I would think so. That law enforcement could find out that it's linked to Google and then go approach Google to find out information.
Yep, she's correct. And that's a VoIP. It's a VoIP system, so voice over internet protocol.
VoIP, yes.
And my business partner, Nicole, she's actually working currently with Google to create the first database of VoIP numbers.
Okay, so I don't want to go outside of what we're talking about. So I just want to get confirmation. And if I'm repeating myself, please forgive me. But what you girls are saying then is it is absolutely possible to call a 911 center, okay, the emergency center, not non-emergency, from another location. It is absolutely possible. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, and is it possible, oh gosh, with an Apple as well as an Android, or is it only with an Android?
Yes.
Both. Thank you, girls.
If using a Google Voice number, yes, it could be possible either way.
Thank you, ma'am. You are worth your weight in gold.
Thank you.
I'm taking notes.
Thank you, Steph. God bless these girls.
There's a lot involved in this. There's a lot involved in it, and I could bore you to tears with how it gets traced back and everything else. But you can always be tracked. Always. Okay. I can pretty much find anything I need to, given the parameters of what we're doing. But it has to be done ethically.
Just trying to find, because I would hate, and I know Steph probably agrees, to bring something to the forefront and we've been semi-accused of being wrong. And now you two experts come to the forefront and said, no, it's actually possible.
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, it's absolutely correct. And people, like Eric says, he needs to stay in his lane. You can provide that, but if you don't understand the back end, period, and Kristen did an excellent job avoiding some really, really other tips. You're amazing. And I appreciate, because I have never, ever seen it from that Google side.
No, thank you guys for, I mean, just God bless you, really, because sometimes you feel like you're losing your mind when you've looked into stuff and you're not an expert, you know, like meaning me. I'm not an expert in these things, and yet I'll spend hours, sometimes days, looking at something, get an answer, and then within 2 seconds, someone who's not even in that field is saying, you're wrong. And then here 2 experts come and go, nope, he's actually right.
Yes, that is correct. That is
you are 100% right, ma'am. You can. If they used a Google Voice, they can do that. Now, even if it was found that they used a different app for a burner number, they could always find out what app could have been used and go, once again, they could give a warrant to that app company and still find out more information as being the basic subscriber information.
Exactly.
Oh, you guys are just awesome.
And
Thank you.
I will ask Kat, who wrote those standards, to provide me with the documentation of the federal, because it's all federal. It has to go, you can request it on a localized level, but those are federal rules and regulations, you know, and swatting, I'm going to explain this. You can't put lump sum everything as into swatting. Swatting started from a bunch of 12-year-old gamers who literally got upset and called the FBI and had this family surrounded because of the game. And I will tell you this, it is illegal.
Oh yeah.
That law may not be there. And doxing, even though and Kristen can tell you this, it is upon every standard within each community. So Google has one, TikTok has one, so forth and so on. It is outlined in their structure. And it has not been passed as a federal law. And I am actively working on making sure that does happen. Because there's a lot of people who, especially now on this app, because I abide by those standards. I've been around for a long time, and who, especially now on this app, because I abide by those standards. I've been around for a long time, and I believe it's my professional ethics. And, you know, misinformation is easily spread. And when you're working, especially, you know, with all the drama that has been created over the MICA stuff, you know, it could cause a lot of heartache, especially with the federal investigation. If you have to interview 20,000 people because they're all associated from one place or one person who's pushing that information, then you're culpable, period. And
and just to help explain for our UK listeners on how that warrant system works, let's say, and I'm just using Princess Paula as an example. Let's say someone had been stalking Princess Paula. Okay, she goes to London Met Police. Met Police would file their criminal complaint, and then they would send me, because at that point in time I was in control of UK, a legal document indicating the legal basis for why they're wanting the information, what parameters that they're looking for, and that they think this person is that person. If the legal basis matched for the UK and it matched what we have, then I would turn that over, okay? But if it didn't match the legal basis for the UK, I would have to send back that request. They would have to do it again and then send it back to me, and that's how it would work for the UK. Now, Europe is totally different. Now, Europe, they followed by the GDPR as well, and they have a whole separate civil stuff. And Germany, once again, we had to follow through their legal basis as well. And if the legal basis did not match, we rejected it, it would come back. So, but on the civil front, yes, they have the GDPR. They can request data. There's all kinds of stuff. They're very Europeans are extremely smart, and UK has their own form of it when it comes to data. But yeah, that's a whole separate thing, and I don't mean to bore y'all to tears or derail the conversation.
No.
But Kristen, can I ask you a question? Sorry,
Yes.
can I ask you a question?
Hold.
Sorry.
One moment. We have 65,000 likes. Let's see if we can get to 75,000 as you're listening. Please tap. And today's live goal is 10 coffees. I'm going to pin that. We have 2. Now let's take a quick moment here. Robbie Joe claims to have information about TCR. Go ahead.
This is True Crime Re, and if you want the real story,
for the love. Somebody,
Kristen,
no, you're not going to do that. You're not going to. You're not welcome here. And then somebody blocked that account. But thank you for unveiling another one of your fake accounts. Okay,
Exactly.
bye-bye.
Right on. Kristen, I'd love to speak to you outside of the show if that's possible. If you wouldn't mind me picking your brain.
I don't mind. You could certainly send me a message, and I'll be happy to do that. As I said, my TikTok account is mainly just for entertainment stuff. That for me, it's not really. I do my best to separate work stuff away from entertainment stuff, and true crime is one of my side passions. So I can at least explain some things. Not all things Google, but definitely I can explain from what I've experienced and dealt with from my own experience.
But Kristen, may I ask a question, please? This is the thing. This is the thing that I'm really wondering, and I don't claim to have any of this technological knowledge either, and that's why I was so amazed that I saw that you can make calls through the iCloud if you have access to it from another person's phone. Is there any connection between Apple iCloud and Google? Is there any connection there at all?
No, they're two separate entities.
That's what I thought.
Apple iCloud tends to
encrypt their data.
They're two. The way the databases are made, yes, it's mutual in SQL, but in the sense of being linked together and having all the same stuff, no, because of the fact that OneDrive is associated with cloud, and that being Microsoft Cloud, and then you have Google Drive, which is connected to Google. So Google would be more Android, and I believe, I believe this is correct, that the Microsoft Cloud is connected to iPhone.
Yeah,
and Micah's was an iPhone, wasn't it? So that's the point I'm making. Was he was the only person who had access to her iCloud. Mm-hmm. So if anyone made a call, it was either him or somebody he was with. It was obviously somebody who he was with, because it was a female voice. So, and I personally had a theory as to who made the call all along. But having heard that voice yesterday in the recording of the 7th of July, I started to question, was it her or was it her? And you'll know who I mean by that.
Right.
So I what I think would be an interesting exercise is to compare those two voices. I mean, to go back to look at an old video of, I'm trying to say it without saying the names, and compare those voices. Yeah.
Yeah, we need to compare voices. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm sorry to interrupt. I just had something sent to me that actually has both of them side by side. That's like amazing.
If you'll email it to me, I'll play it so we can hear it. Steph's casefiles@gmail.com, and I'll open up my email and wait for it.
Okay. Hopefully that's the original kind of like unaltered version. Hopefully. That's the original file.
So I think this is so valuable, so much valuable information. It's possible. So in my mind, I'm connecting the dots here, that and a possibility we are just analyzing, folks.
Okay.
Possibility is that someone could have logged into Micah's iCloud and they could have instructed her. Okay, she could have bought the PPUS protection because she was going to meet someone, and they instructed her that that's what she needed to do. Turn off location on your phone, meet me at such and such, okay? And she done that. Somebody got into the iCloud, made the call, with that voice, and that is one of the possibility that's roaming around in my head.
Exactly.
Yeah, and keep in mind too, he does have access to her Gmail account as well. And I know that to be the fact because of my source and closely linked, and he's another IT person. So he has access to both. And I am actually going to make a point to make a video stuff, especially now, to show how you can even do that from your phone, and not have to go into the iCloud to receive or make calls. You could do it directly now to your iPhone.
Well, they say, you know, according to Robeson, that she had I guess she'd bought a different phone, not her regular phone, because only a few people had this phone number.
That's
so
right.
would have JP or someone, allegedly anybody, been able to log into the new phone without her knowing and got the information for her iCloud?
Yes. Because you
It
have
could
to
also be if they were smart enough, they could mirror it to where if they could. Well, what I mean by mirroring is that same, or what they call cloning, is where that same information would appear on the one that she has and also appear on the one the other person has.
Yes.
Okay, let's listen to this side-by-side comparison that Veronica has sent us, okay?
Hi, Ariane. I noticed. Hi, Ariane. Hi, Ariane. Are you? Hi, Ariane. Are you able to trace the location of my phone? I'm about to. If you could, please, yourself. And I just want my family to know where to. I think you don't. If you could, please, just let live, and nobody's seen him yet.
Holy cow.
Patterns, breath patterns. You can't undo that, period. You cannot, because it's involuntary.
Thank you, Veronica. Thank you for that. That's spine chilling.
Hey, Steph, I have a question for you.
Sure.
Do you think what's really going on is that they let that go because they have something much bigger on him to put him away a lot longer?
Yes.
Because remember, the FBI is involved. So it may not be that they don't think the same things that everybody else is thinking. They're just thinking, we have more of a shot to get him with the other thing than with this thing.
Yes.
So the FBI is
a good way to get in, by the way.
The FBI is not the only federal agency involved. Just for the record, there's the U.S. Marshals are involved, the DOJ are involved, and it's very possible even Homeland Security is involved. That's all I can say about that.
Exactly. And a lot of people have been asking about why is Homeland Security executing these raids, in particular, like on, let's just say, take P. Diddy. They went into New York and Miami, etc. There was a law that was passed. It's been probably about 3 years ago, that if you're within 50 miles of water or a route that, I guess is receiving, they would be the people to handle that. And I don't know if they'll execute it, but it seems to me that Homeland Security is kind of, really the ones that maybe need to investigate it. If you're going up the scale, because if it's compromised,
but the only thing
with
about-
other agencies.
Sorry, Andy. The only thing about that is, and I can't remember who's made the video, but I've seen a video that's an exchange, a conversation, I think in a DM or quite possibly on a video that somebody's posted, that the local Homeland Security representative there was basically laughing in the face of everyone who was saying that, no, there's a case against Spidey. And I wish I could just remember who created it, but if that's anything to go by, and I've got no chance of remembering the guy's name, I need to find the video again.
It's Robbie Hardy.
Then they are just laughing in the face of everything we're trying to do, saying, well, nothing's been brought against him, you can't prove anything. And so that was a real eye-opener to see that.
Everyone is asking if we could listen to it one more time. Do you mind, panel?
No.
There's a lot of comments about wanting to hear it again, so I was just going to do it one more
And
time.
then I'll answer after that.
Hi, Ariana. I noticed. Hi, Ariana. Hi, Ariana. Are you? Hi, Ariana. Are you able to trace the location of my phone? I'm about to. If you could, please, yourself. And I just want my family to know where to. I think you'd have. If you could, please, just let live, and nobody's seen him yet.
There it is.
Yeah. Okay. So, in regards to Homeland Security, any federal agency, you can't call them and ask them anything. They're not going to sit there and go, "Oh, okay, yeah, I'm going to tell you everything we know." They're not going to do that. And so, anybody who claims that they got laughed in the face, they should be laughed in the face, because they're not going to give any kind of information, especially when it comes to trafficking. So, I've said before that the only confirmation that we got that there was involvement was that there was evidence sent to them in regards to accusations of human trafficking.
I can confirm that more information was actually provided that linked a lot more to that, but they work hand in hand with the agencies, you know?
Right.
And trust me, we've been on the radar for long enough, and you would be amazed at the people I have that go in a line, and people you would think are not even associated. It really has depressed me for the last 4 months, because people that I know, people of our community. So it's insane.
Right. Well, then, Andy, I guess you would know who Tim Ballard is. You would know who the Operation Underground Railroad is.
Yes, ma'am. I do.
Okay, so that's who I'm affiliated with.
Yes,
and,
and it's amazing you're in Pennsylvania, because I have another woman that I follow who is actually a nurse, and she works with that. I didn't even know this. When victims come in to to kind of get out, they are provided brand new identifications. The issue is you have a lot of hang up. So she works within one of the senator's offices to help clear that up. But that also allows people to leverage their sources within, because always remember, a lot of these people, not all of them, but you'll see it, law enforcement's involved, and even the feds. And I've seen several cases where that happens. I think if I'm not mistaken, and I'll need to confirm this, Ann, but his name is very, very familiar. And I think I might have a direct link to him, but I will confirm that and send you the information to make sure.
You mean Tim? You mean Tim Ballard?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm not sure. I think he's working in the backgrounds. I noticed some other people have taken over.
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah. Okay. So,
Steph, just to say, sorry, that exchange that I saw with the supposed Homeland Security guy, it was actually on Facebook. So, I mean, his ID was there, everything. But this is the local Homeland Security representative, or whoever he's supposed to be.
IDs to be
and I'm sure that it was definitely authentic and valid. And he was basically laughing in people's faces, saying, well, he hasn't been charged with anything, and he's not going to be charged with anything.
Of course he's going to laugh about it.
He's partially correct.
Yeah.
He's partially correct until recently. Keep that in mind.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, of course,
the kingpin was taken down. You need to get rid of the big people who are financing the whole thing.
Yes.
And so now that that's being done, the lower players are going to be dealt with. And I'm sorry, but JP Miller can think of himself as high as he wants. He's nothing but a low baller.
Yep. And Diddy, look at that example right there. Right there. That should explain everything to you, because not even Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell were even charged with the stuff he's been charged with.
Right.
Because of the corruption.
Yeah.
I discovered another interesting angle, and it's sort of hard to take on unless you have researched into the background of the Myrtle case. But I was in contact with someone who very much did that. And the guy, the very high up business guy, billionaire, I think, and somebody who was actually running for president, the South Carolina representative, sorry, I'm not sure what terminology you use there, but again, without naming names, but these two were actually the source of what's going on with Spidey, just as they were with Murdoch. But that's just another angle that I discovered.
I know what you're talking. I know exactly what you're talking about.
You know who I'm referring to.
Mm-hmm.
Did you say Spivey? Is that correct?
Sorry?
Did you say Spivey? Is that correct?
I use that because I dare not mention names or initials or anything, really.
Oh, Spidey. Oh, yeah.
Spidey.
Yeah, sorry.
Yes. And I
The English accent is...
Michael, when she married JP, she was trafficked. Okay? That was confirmed by my source. And I don't know, as a parent, how on any level you can hear it, listen to that, and absorb it and not break down. But when you work in, IT, especially networking, we see a lot of stuff. I've seen a lot of stuff.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but Steph, who is ES that's sitting here in the panel? That's been quiet this entire time.
I wonder, who are you, ES? Do you have anything to say?
Apparently not.
Interesting. Well, I'm going to disconnect them then. I'm interested, though. I'm going to be looking at that profile.
Incredible.
Oh, ES says I'm a stay-at-home mama, and I didn't know if you had anything you wanted to say or whatnot. We're a little leery since our panel got infiltrated.
Yeah.
It's a private account. Well, guys, I've got to get off here. It is that time of day, but know that Ryan, that I'm always working in the background all the time to try to seek the truth. And I appreciate every one of you coming in here, especially my panel. You're making my dreams come true right before my eyes. You guys throw the panel some roses and some gifts, if you can, to appreciate them for taking the time out of their day to come up here to speak with you. It's much and forever appreciated. Remember that, tomorrow's show was going to be on location, but he's only going to be going on in court via Zoom. And if I'm talking about Mickey Steins, the incident that happened in where I'm from in Kentucky. And so because he's only going to be on Zoom, I feel like there's no reason for me to go up there. But when he starts having to appear in court, I will be covering that case, because there's no way I would ever miss that. So I don't feel the drive to Kentucky is worth it this time, but I will definitely get that next time. If you're not familiar with this case, just click on the Letcher County Tragedy playlist in my page. Remember that you can always find me on any social media platform. All you have to do is look for the same username and logo. I'm on YouTube, X, Facebook, Twitter. I'm on Twitter. Twitter is X. I got to get used to that. Instagram, and also Scoops. If you're not familiar with Scoops, it's a free for all. They don't hide anything, so be prepared when you go there that it is an uncensored app. Scoops with a Z. You can download that free, in the App Store. Thank you, Courtney. Thank you, Ann. Willadoodle, my sweet friend. Andy, thank you, friend. Veronica, Princess Paula, I'm always graced with your voice. It is so charming. Kristen, thank you for your patience and knowledge in explaining to us in your field. I really appreciate that. Okay, guys, I'll see you in the morning at 10 a.m. Unless something goes down, I'm all ready to throw down and put the smack down. So
Well,
I
thank
might
you
go
so
live
much,
at any
everyone,
moment.
and y'all have a great day.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Steph.
God bless.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I might come on during the day if something goes down. Y'all know I'm always ready. But until in the morning, unless something else changes, I will see you. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you, Steph.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.